no gunfire, no beach landings. Yet in just 1 hour, Ukraine shattered an entire secret Russian naval operation right in the middle of the sea. What really happened in the dark skies above the Black Sea? The 24th of June, 4:16 a.m., a Russian landing craft carrying 30 elite soldiers was just minutes away from the Ukrainian coast. Its mission? Still classified. But one thing was certain: Ukraine was watching. For 27 minutes of silence, a Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drone quietly tracked the vessel from an altitude of 5,400 meters, high enough to evade Russian radar, close enough to capture its every move. What followed was a masterclass in modern warfare. One drone, one missile, one life-or-death decision, and Ukraine crushed Russia's secret operation before it ever reached shore. In the silence before dawn over the Black Sea, nothing moved faster than information. For nearly 30 minutes, Ukrainian commanders tracked a slow but deliberate heat signature gliding across the water. They didn't just see a vessel, they saw a threat. And they struck before the enemy even knew what was happening.
Okay, come on. Hey, give me all
This wasn't a lucky discovery. It was a predicted operation. As the Cerna landing craft silently slid across the ink-black water, an invisible eye was already waiting at 18,000 feet. The Bayraktar TB2 wasn't just a reconnaissance tool. It was a clear sign that Ukraine was no longer on the defensive. They had entered a state of strategic control. They knew exactly when to take off, where to appear, and how long to wait before striking. This was the art of absolute initiative. Do you see it? Real power doesn't lie in reacting. It lies in predicting your opponent's next move. If you were in that control room at that moment, would you have the nerve to wait for the perfect window, or would you strike too soon? In modern warfare, weapons are no longer measured by size or firepower. They're defined by their ability to disappear into the shadows and strike with precision at the perfect moment. The Bayraktar TB2 isn't just a drone, it's a strategic shift. Born from Turkey's ambition to challenge US platforms like the Predator, the TB2 carries a new philosophy: low cost, high efficiency, and relentless performance in silence. The Rotax 912 engine was originally built for ultralight civilian aircraft, but once integrated into the TB2, it powered a machine capable of flying for 27 straight hours with near-silent operation. A top speed of just 70 knots might sound slow, but that slowness is the strategy. It reduces heat signature, evades radar, and turns the drone into a cold shadow drifting through the night sky. Here, power isn't about noise, it's about surviving in the danger zone where the enemy can't reach you. Do you see it? War is no longer about who shoots first, it's about who sees first, without being seen. Victory no longer lies in ballistics, it lies in data. And in Ukraine's hands, the Bayraktar TB2 isn't just a pair of eyes in the sky, it's the central nervous system of the entire operation. Equipped with Canada's MX-15D optical system, the TB2 doesn't guess it sees. Clearly, as if reading a living map. From 20 kilometers away, it can read a license plate. Over the dark sea, its infrared system turns the water's surface into a glowing sheet where the Cerna's engine lit up like a torch. Every turn, every burst of speed, every change in heat recorded, analyzed, cross-referenced, nothing was left to chance. This isn't just surveillance, it's tactical tracing. Instead of striking blindly, Ukraine chose to quietly gather just enough data, just enough certainty, just enough precision to turn every hit into a surgical cut. In this era, a drone is no longer just a weapon. It's a surgeon with a scalpel, knowing exactly when to slice through the enemy's defenses and when to wait. What do you think? Is the one who waits stronger than the one who rushes to act? At first, it was just a single Cerna vessel, a lone target on the thermal screen. But within minutes, the truth came into focus. Not one, but 3 identical boats, moving in formation, keeping precise distance, heading in the same direction. This wasn't a patrol. This was a calculated strike formation. From above, the TB2 recorded every signal. Speed, trajectory, spacing, all of it pointed to one conclusion. This was a coordinated military formation, carefully planned, not a random event. They weren't off course. They were heading toward a single destination, the western coastal area of Khersones, where earlier GPS jamming signals, unidentified drones, and suspicious communications had already raised red flags for Ukrainian intelligence. A landing point had already been chosen. The men on board weren't sailors, they were combat troops, carrying backpacks, body armor, and intent. And if they made it to shore, Ukraine would be facing a new front at its back. The question wasn't, should we respond? It was, how much time do we have before it's too late to act? Inside a secret UAV operations center near Mykolaiv, the tension was razor sharp. Every eye was locked on the thermal screen where 3 Cerna landing craft were closing in on the Ukrainian shore. Time was running out. Within minutes, if no action was taken, 30 Special Forces soldiers could make landfall and ignite a raid deep into Ukraine's rear lines. But if they fired too early, Ukraine would expose one of its key weapons and risk losing the upper hand in future battles. This was the defining moment. And at 4:15 a.m., the order came. Engage. No sirens, no shouting. Just a cold, precise command from the control center of the 383rd UAV Brigade, Ukraine's elite unit in unmanned warfare. They didn't act out of emotion. They acted because they knew 1 second of hesitation could mean lost territory, a destroyed bridge, or a breached front line. What about you? If you were the one sitting in that control room in Mykolaiv, would you have the nerve to wait for the perfect moment, or would you pull the trigger too soon out of fear of missing your chance? In the most intense moment, just as everything was in place for a decisive strike, an unexpected glitch hit. The TB2's laser guidance system suddenly reported a malfunction. In the pitch-black skies above the Black Sea, the drone hovered silently holding position, locking visuals but unable to fire. Every passing second now became a test of nerves. On the ground, the one in control wasn't a machine but a living, breathing human being. A young soldier from the 383rd UAV Brigade, likely just in his early 20s, yet holding the weight of a strategic balance in his hands. He didn't panic. He didn't rush. Calmly, he rebooted the system, following the exact procedures he'd drilled hundreds of times in simulation. 1 minute passed like an hour. Then the laser came back online. Without wasting a second, he pulled the trigger. Now think about it if you were the one sitting at that control panel, watching 3 enemy vessels closing in on your shore, fully aware of what failure could cost. Would you have stayed calm enough to fix the issue? Who truly wins in a war like this, the drone or the human who commands it? The strike from above seemed to have done its job, but just a second later, a second, even more violent explosion erupted from the center of the Cerna vessel. It wasn't fuel, it wasn't ammunition. It was a thermobaric charge, the kind used only in sabotage missions targeting infrastructure. Flames shot high, temperatures spiked beyond sensor limits. The truth was clear. This wasn't just a landing, it was part of a sophisticated sabotage operation. The TB2 didn't just destroy a boat, it erased an attack order before it could ever be carried out. There was no counterattack, no rescue attempt. The 2 remaining Cerna vessels immediately turned back, pushed to full speed, and retreated toward Crimea in chaos. This wasn't a tactical withdrawal, it was a full-blown retreat. A single strike from the TB2 had shattered the entire formation. 1 link severed, and the entire chain of plans unraveled. No second strike was needed, not a single extra bullet. Just 1 blow at the right time, at the right target, sent the entire sabotage operation fleeing in fear. That wasn't just a victory. It was a complete collapse in silence. This wasn't just a tactical win. It was a strike that disrupted the very logic of modern warfare. 1 drone, one missile, and one perfectly timed decision that was all it took to bring down an entire sabotage operation before it even began. Ukraine didn't need to fire artillery. They didn't need rapid response teams on the coast. They weren't defending, they were anticipating. Not a single alarm sounded. Not one soldier had to face the enemy head-on. Yet, the impact Ukraine delivered was deeper than any battle before. Russia didn't just lose a vessel, they lost faith in their own secrecy. They lost the initiative. And most importantly, they lost a strategic tool before it ever saw action. This victory proved one thing. Ukraine is no longer reacting to threats. They're controlling the battlefield with patience, with technology, and with ice-cold precision in decision-making. The tide of war has shifted. And sometimes, the most terrifying thing isn't the explosion, it's the silence with a purpose. This silent victory didn't end on Ukraine's shores. It opened a new chapter in global warfare, where superpowers test each other not with firepower, but with stealth, foresight, and perfectly timed strikes. As the TB2 wrapped up its mission over the Black Sea, another quiet move was unfolding in the Taiwan Strait, where China clashed with the US Navy without a single shot fired. You see it, don't you? War has changed its shape. Whoever controls the silence is rewriting the rules of the world. The greatest victory isn't destroying your enemy, it's making them retreat before they even strike. Ukraine did exactly that, not with artillery, but with intelligence, technology, and absolute silence. In an era where data, patience, and perfectly timed decisions are the ultimate weapons, the real question is, do you have the clarity to win without making a sound? If the next war unfolds, without explosions, without gunfire, would you even realize it's already begun? Ukraine's latest strike is more than just an attack, it's a clear statement. The sea is no longer a safe haven for the Russian Navy. For decades, the Black Sea Fleet was seen as an untouchable symbol, shielded by air defense systems, long-range radar, and layers of strategic protection. But in a single night, Ukraine shattered that shield with unprecedented precision, speed, and boldness. You see, this is no longer a war of massive aircraft carriers or giant cruiser fleets. This is a war of smart technology, of kamikaze drones, real-time data, and strikes programmed with less than a meter of error. Russia hasn't just lost ships, they've lost control of the seas. What sets this operation apart isn't its destructive force, but the way it was executed. No warning, no sirens, no drawn-out confrontation, just a series of cold, chillingly precise strikes. The Russian Navy was forced to pull back, to reposition, and to confront a sobering truth. Any vessel, no matter how armored or tightly escorted, can now become a target in an instant.